My name is Michael Cooper. I'm an Employability Officer here at UOW. One question we are constantly asked as a career practitioner is, what can I do with my degree? In this demonstration, I'm going to show you how to investigate those various pathways yourself. To do this, I'm going to be utilizing UOW's What Can I Do with My Degree tool, LinkedIn, as well as some other various online job boards. Let's start with What Can I Do with My Degree? You can find this resource on the UOW Careers and Employability website here in the left hand panel. Alternatively, you can just Google UOW What Can I Do with My Degree? As we scroll down the page here, you can see that we have categorized options by the broader discipline or school. To start off with, I'm going to pretend I'm a marketing student wanting to know a little bit more about what my options are post university. Let's click on the Business, Marketing and Management option to see what we find. On this next page, we can find all the majors that exist underneath this broader category. Let's click on the Marketing option to see what we have. As you can see, this uncovers a range of information. We have a discipline overview, okay, as well as some key employability skills. This is a great place to start when you are writing your resume at the end of your degree and you're wanting to know some key points to add about what your degree has given you, especially if you're stuck, okay? But what we wanted to be looking at for the sake of this demonstration is the related occupation section, okay? These results are obtained from two different sources. Okay, the first is the National Quilt Survey. This is a national survey sent out to every graduate from university 6 months after completing their degree. It ascertains if you are employed, what your job title is, and who your employer is, among some other things. We have obtained the results specifically for UOW students and collated them into this list, which you are seeing here. The second list is a list that we have gone out and done our own research on utilizing the UOW LinkedIn tool. I'm going to show you what that looks like in a few moments' time. Okay. Before we do that, however, let's have a look at this second column, right, where we can see the employers, right? Similar to the related occupation section, we have retained these results from the Quilt survey and through our own research through UOW LinkedIn alumni. And here we can see a range of employers that have employed people from the marketing major. Okay. The third thing I'm going to pull you to, okay, is this formal graduate programs section. Now, if you don't know what a formal graduate program is, essentially it's a paid 12 to 24 month internship, okay, which you complete at the end of your degree. You have to apply for it just like you would any other job. All right. And you can see here some of the employers that offer formal graduate programs. And this is by no means a comprehensive list. And to demonstrate that, I'm going to click on this hyperlink for Grad Connection down here and take you to some options for you to have a look at. All right. And I've set this tabs up ahead of time. So just imagine I've just clicked that hyperlink. Now, you can see here we're on Grad Connection, which is powered by the job search engine Seek. All right. This is where all the graduate roles are advertised. I'm filming this demonstration on February 22nd of 2024. Okay. And if you're wanting to think about applying for a graduate program, it's important to know that graduate programs, the application process for graduate programs opens about halfway through February. And for the first intake, it usually closes last week of March, first week of April. Okay. So if you're entering your final year of study, you're applying for these programs at the start of the year. Okay. And then you're starting in the roles as you finish your degree at the end of the year. Okay. If you wait till you finish your degree in November and you start looking for graduate programs, you've missed the boat for that year. All right. It's important that you understand that and you're looking at these jobs at the beginning of your final year of study. Okay. And you can see here, I've put in graduate, I've put in discipline, market and sales, and I've set the location for the Sydney region. And there are dozens and dozens and dozens of options available to you. Let's go back to the What Can I Do with My Degree page. Okay. And let's have a look at some of the job titles here. All right. Let's say that you're not interested in a graduate program and you're wanting to go straight into entry level positions. Okay. You can see here there's a range of job titles for us to start searching in using as keywords in our job searching um, um, research when we're looking for positions. Okay. So I'm just going to pick marketing assistant here as a starting point. Now, for the sake of this example, I'm using the jobs feature, the job search feature within LinkedIn. Okay, similar. I've put in marketing assistant and I've put in Sydney. Okay, and you can see once again there are dozens and dozens of options available across a range of industries, whether it's real estate, accounting, education, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so there's a lot to go with here in terms of getting you going and thinking about different positions that you could apply for and potentially applying for some of these roles yourself. Okay, let's have a look at the employers section here because sometimes it's a good idea to identify the company that you want to work with first and then see what jobs it is they have on offer and finding work that way. Okay, so let's say we're looking through this list here and we come across Red Bull and we think, I'd love to work with an internationally recognized fun brand like Red Bull. That would be a kind of job I would like to have and a kind of company that I would like to work for. Okay, so it's a really good idea to go on that company's website. Every company will have their jobs that are currently available advertised at a certain point on their website. To find that, what I usually do is just Google the name of the company followed by Australia and careers. Okay, so it's important to put that Australia in that job search because, especially for an international company like Red Bull, they will have offices all over the world. And there's no point looking at work or looking at a job that's in Madrid unless you want to move to Spain. Okay, so always make sure you're putting that Australia in the key search to ensure that you are on their Australian version of their website. Okay, and we can see here that you can select your team. I'm going to put marketing because I'm pretending I'm a marketing major. Okay, and then we can see here 6 jobs found. Let's go have a look at what they have on offer. So, first of all, we can see that there's a senior brand manager role. Now, as a graduate, you're not going to be experienced enough to apply for a senior management position straight out of university, okay, in almost all cases, okay? So we need to be thinking about something that's much more entry level, all right? Now, we can see that there's these student marketer roles here, okay? And you can see they're attached to universities. Now, does that mean that you have to be going to that university to get into that position? I don't know. Let's have a look. Our student marketers are the face of Red Bull brand and our product ambassadors both on and off campus. The purpose of the role consists of three folds: approaching consumers to drive positive product trial, awareness, and help establish Red Bull consumption in different moments of need. Okay, so I'm not saying anything here that says that you need to be a University of Sydney student to be in this position. It's probably just based at the University of Sydney. Okay, and if we're thinking about entry level roles to get you going in marketing, you could probably be in this position while you're still studying. Okay, this could be the perfect role for you to start getting some relevant experience on your resume. Okay, so this could be a really, really good find if that's something that you're interested in doing. Okay. But let's just say that you looked at that senior brand manager role and you thought, hey, that's a really, really cool position. I would like to end up in a role like that myself. Okay. So, what we can have a look at and what we can utilize is what's called LinkedIn alumni search. Right. And how we find that is we go on LinkedIn, right, and we want to go to the University of Wollongong's webpage. Okay, you don't need to restrict yourself to UOW, but it's always a good idea to be thinking about, okay, I'm studying at this institution doing this degree. What are people who have studied at UOW who have done my degree doing, and how have they used that to advance their career? Okay, so you go on the UOW's LinkedIn page, and you're looking at these tabs on the top panel here, and we can see that there's alumni over the far right. So we click on alumni, and what that's going to open up is all the alumni who have ever studied at UIW that now have a LinkedIn account. You can see that there's currently 321,000 people on LinkedIn that have studied at UIW. Okay, and that's far too large a number for us to then go through and find people that are relevant to what we've studied, right? But what we can do is we can put a whole range of things in this keyword search. So for the sake of this example, I'm going to put Red Bull because I want to see what UIW graduates, are currently working at Red Bull. It would help if I spelled it correctly. Okay, and we can see that there's a range of employers here. We can see that Lucy is head of brand at Red Bull, right? Which was a very similar role to that senior brand manager. Okay, if anything, this might actually even be a little bit more senior. So I'd like to go have a look at her profile, see what she studied, and see what she did to end up in such a senior position for a company that I'm really, really interested in working for. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to go and have a look at is her education section and see what she studied and what dates she studied them. Okay, so we can see that she's done a Bachelor of Commerce, majoring in marketing and international business, which she finished in 2007. Okay, so she's been a professional for almost 2 decades. Okay. And we can see almost 10 years after she's finished her undergrad, she's come back and she's done an MBA through our Sydney Business School, right? As well as some extracurricular, private education as well. All right. So in 2007, she graduated. Let's go have a look at her work history and see how she started and how she's maybe ended up in her position currently with Red Bull. All right. So her first job was for a company called Simplot Australia, where she worked as a field supervisor. Okay. I have no idea what a field supervisor is, but that could be something interesting for me to have a look at because maybe that's the kind of position I can target. I have no idea what Simplot Australia is. So maybe that's a company that I can go have a look at and see what they're doing and think about whether I can target a similar company within that industry to get my career going in marketing. Okay. From there, she's um, progressed through Simplot Australia, where she's ended up as a national account manager, which has some sort of Woolworths designation. And from there, she's been able to move to Campbell Arnott's, where she's worked in their Tiny Teddy distribution, their Arnott's, okay, and more generally their sweet section. Okay, this is kind of like, maybe my dream job. And you can see here in 2016, while she was the brand manager for Arnott's, she's gone back and she's done that MBA at Sydney Business School, if you remember correctly, when we're looking at her education section. From there, she's been able to go to Red Rooster, where she's then gone to Lion, which is one of Australia's largest beer distributions, where she's worked for Furphy and Little Creatures. This is very much becoming my dream career. From there, she's very much she's gone across to head of brand at Red Bull. Okay, so we can have a look at how she's gone through her career and maybe start to reverse engineer it and think about how we can do a similar thing with our career. So I'm going to go and have a look at Simplot Australia Proprietary Limited and see what kind of work it is they do. So Simplot Australia is a food manufacturing and agricultural business encompassing potato, vegetable, seafood, and sauce operations that supply a wide range of frozen, self-stable, and chilled products to Australia and New Zealand. Okay, so it's a fresh produce supply chain logistics company. All right. So, if you're finishing your degree and you're thinking, I'd love to work for a large, internationally recognized blue chip company like Red Bull or, something along those lines. Okay. And we're finding that we're not being successful applying for those roles. Maybe it's a really good idea to think about maybe some small to medium sized enterprises that we can target, get some work in, start getting some experience, demonstrate our skills, and move through the ranks. And then at a certain point, transition back across to those larger, funner companies that we want to work for. Okay. So, it's a really, really good strategy to take when we're thinking about our careers. Okay. So, let's take that marketing hat off for a second and let's change tack here a little bit and maybe go for a slightly different position. Okay, so now I'm imagining I'm a social sciences student, okay, and I'm majoring in social policy. Okay, so now I'm from an arts degree. It's a little bit more general. When we're often speaking to students about what can I do with my degree, they're from an arts background where they're not quite sure how they can turn their general degree into a specific role. Okay, so, for the sake of this example, I'm imagining I have majored in social policy and we're back on this page again. We can see the key employability skills, we can see the related occupations, and we can see the related employers, as well as the formal graduate programs, all right, which we can see Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, Department of Social Services, Safe Work Australia. Okay, so these are government graduate programs. So let's just click on this link here, right, which takes us to this tab, and we can see that Department of Social Services has a graduate development program, all right? And they'll have a specialized graduate program just for the Department of Social Services, okay? But there's a whole range of options here. So if we go to graduate pathways, we can see what those options are. Right, and we can see that there's different specializations for a whole range of roles. Okay, and if we go to the Australian Government Graduate Program link here, we can have a look at what some of those specializations are. All right, so we can scroll down and we can see that there's things that are in the digital stream, legal stream, okay, Indigenous pathways, data streams, intelligence streams, accounting, finance, HR, economists, STEM. Okay, and then there's this generalist stream here. Okay, and this generalist stream is really, really, really popular for students that are doing an arts degrees that are coming from maybe a really broad background, and they're wanting to just get a role within the government and find their feet and find out what they're good at, and what they enjoy doing. And it's a really, really, really good place to start. Okay, so have a look at some of these government streams, graduate programs. If you're in an arts degree, they're a really, really good place to start your career. Okay, so similar to how did before, we're going to go have a look at the UIW alumni page. All right, now if we go back to the what can I do with my degree website, okay, for the social policy major, we can see that this first job here is social policy officer. So I've just copy and pasted that. I'm going back over to LinkedIn alumni and I've searched that as a keyword. Right, we can see that that's reduced the UIW alumni from 103,000 to 554. Right, we can scroll down and we can have a look at the people that are currently working as a social policy officer from UIW. And I'm going to have a look at Azran's page here. First thing I always do is go have a look at their education section and see whether I'm studying something that's relevant to what they've studied, and just to know that I'm at least on the right pathway. Okay, and we can see here that Azran has graduated from a Bachelor of Social Sciences, majoring in sociology in 2020. Now, like I said, I'm majoring in social policy. Does that mean that I cannot have the same career trajectory as Azran? No, it does not, especially from an arts degree. Okay, it's about how you sell yourself and your knowledge and your expertise that you've attained from your specific major. Okay, so they're very, very transferable, a social policy degree and a sociology major. Okay, so I'm very much able to apply and look for work in similar roles as what Azran has done since finishing her degree. Okay, so she's finished that in 2020, and then in 2022 she's done a graduate certificate in management at the Australian National University, as well as completed some extracurricular stuff on evidence-based management. Okay. So if I go back to her LinkedIn page and have a look at her um, uh, employment history, we can have a bit of an idea of what she's done to get into her current senior policy officer role with the Department of Social Services. So she has her retail work that she's completed while she was at university. She even has some university student roles that she's completed while she was here at university, and some big W stuff. She's done a reconciliation action plan with the Disability Trust, which is a local disability support provider. Okay, and using all these experiences, she's been able to attain a graduate program starting in 2021 with the Department of Social Services. So if we went back to that what can I do with my degree page and we had a look at those graduate programs, the Department of Social Services graduate program was one of the ones that it identified that you should be looking to apply for. Okay, so she's completed that over 12 months. Okay, and then she's moved into a policy officer position. And if you remember correctly, in 2022, she did that grad cert in management from ANU, and combining all of those things together, she's been able to score a senior policy officer role with the Department of Social Services, within a 2-year period, which is, she's doing very, very, very well for herself from a career perspective. Okay, so this is the kind of things that we can be doing and the kind of investigations that we can be doing, utilizing the what can I do with my degree page, okay, just to get us going and to get us thinking about, how we can turn our degree into a career and the kind of different pathways we can take. So I hope this has been of some help for you. What I would encourage you to do is, do a similar, set of research and functions for yourself that are related to you and your career. okay, and see what you can uncover and see what career paths might be available to you that maybe you hadn't specifically considered. If you have questions or if you want anything clarified after you've done that research, book in for a career chat with us, and we can go through that with you further and help you, really, create some specific plans for your career futures. Okay. I hope this has been of some value to you, and looking forward to seeing you face to face in the future. Thank you.